Praise the Lord. I want to thank the organizers of this program for the privilege given to me to come and share with you from the knowledge I have. I pray it will do us good and will abide by the advice that will be given. Like Daddy said, as a missionary, you need to be up in your health. You need to be fit before you can preach to someone else. Someone that is sick, let me tell you, anybody that is sick in the hospital does not think of anything else than to get well. That's the only thing. No matter the wealth, no matter the fame such person has, at that point in the hospital, the only thing is the person thinks about is to get well. So it is important that you are fit in your body. I didn't prepare a slide, but I'm going to be sharing with us some things that are important. I can see that most people here, from the faces I'm looking at, are more than 20. If you are more than 20, can you raise your hand? More than 20 years. You see, you are laughing because most people are even 40, 50, 60, 80. Someone mentioned 80. There are some things that are salient, very important, that we often ignore. Why? Because most of them don't even present, they don't give you signs. You are just living, sleep, wake up. You don't care to go to the hospital to check. Like Daddy said some people, because of the financial constraints, they are not able to go to the hospital. Why some, should I say, they don't care. They are not bothered about their health. They just, so far I wake up and I'm fine, there's no need to check anything. Let me ask this question. Okay, I'll just point. Ma, when was the last time you checked your BP, your blood pressure? Yeah. Wow, that's nice. 2 weeks ago. Let me check again. Sir, when was the last time you did your blood pressure?
Last week.
Last week. People here are very... How about blood sugar? How long? Like 5 years ago. 2 years ago. Okay. If you know you've checked your blood pressure in the last 4 weeks, can you raise your hand? In the last 4 weeks. You see, if I can count, we are like, let's say 10. And then we have like more than 50 adults here. I'm sure if I ask some people have never checked their BP before. If not because of this maybe this outreach, they are going to check because they are part of this outreach. You know, hypertension in the United States is the most common illness that make people go to the hospital. It affects like 86 million people. That's in the United States. So just imagine coming to Africa, let's home down to Nigeria. In those places, they take their health seriously. You know, statistics, they take their health seriously, and you know, they get to know about their health on time. Now, come to Nigeria, where is either you are not, you don't have enough money to go to the hospital, or healthcare system is not accessible. You know, most people on the missionary field, where their field might not have, the place they are working might not have a good health facility. Even to check BP is difficult. So such people might not take their health seriously. What I'm saying in essence, hypertension is something that should be taken seriously. Another name for hypertension is called silent killer. Why? Because most people don't even present with no symptoms, no headache, nothing. You just discover that I've heard of stories of pastors on the pulpit when they are preaching. Suddenly they just collapse, and before they get to the hospital, they said he's dead. Why? Because of cardiac arrest. Hypertension predisposes, it is a risk factor to so many diseases. Cardiac arrest, stroke, most people come down with stroke. Why? Because they are hypertensive. It's either they don't know or they don't comply with their medication. And what is the definition of hypertension? For you to say someone is hypertensive, the blood pressure, for those that are familiar with blood pressure, it has two parts. There's upper part and there's down part. The upper part measures the systolic, that's the contraction of the heart. So when the heart is contracting, it takes the measurement, and the down part when the heart is relaxing. So immediately your BP, when they check your BP and your BP is 140/90, it is abnormal. That is hypertensive range. The upper part 140, the down part 90, it is hypertensive range. Everyone's supposed to know this, because sometimes you may just see, some people might just be checking BP. You say, okay, let me check my BP. They'll just tell you, your BP is 140/90, and say, okay, thank you very much, and you go. At that point in time, when you hear 140/90, you're supposed to take action. There are, for some people, due to stress, and the BP can get elevated a bit. But you need to know if it's due to stress or you are becoming hypertensive. It is very important. Don't just measure your BP and you go to sleep. What am I saying in essence? And there are some things that you're supposed to do that should keep your BP at bay. There are some risk factors. As age is advancing, you have high propensity of developing BP. If you have family history, for those that have family history, maybe the mother is hypertensive, the father is hypertensive, the sister is hypertensive, you should be more careful than those that don't have family history. It is very, very important. Things that you can do that can make your BP, that can keep your BP at bay. When you discover that, okay, your BP is hitting 130/85, 138 it's time for you to do some things like dietary modification. What you eat at some point. So many people, like, if there's no too much salt inside food, they'll say the food is not sweet. They like to put plenty salt inside food. You should try as much as possible to cut down your salt intake to the barest minimum. Exercise is very important. It has been found that exercise can reduce blood pressure to as much as reducing it by 20 millimeters of mercury. Let's say the upper part is 140 and the down part is 90. So by doing exercise alone, exercise that you can tolerate, because the exercise a 20-year-old would do is different from the exercise a 60 or 70-year-old would do. If a 70-year-old man attempts the exercise that a 20-year-old would do, he might land in the hospital. So the exercise you can tolerate. So it has been known that it can reduce the upper part, that's 140, by 20. That means if your BP is like 140/90, just engaging in exercise alone can reduce the BP to 120 over, let's say, 70. You see? Very effective. But how can you comply? Compliance is very difficult for so many people. And some think until you go to the gym, and do some things, aerobic. That's when you've done exercise. Something as simple, they'll say, I don't have money to go and register, because you can't go to the gym for free. Say, I don't have money to go and register, or maybe there's no gym where you are even working, but your legs are there, you can walk. For some, even to the toilets, they carry car to the toilet. That's sedentary. Yes, they want to go to the toilet, they say, let me drive to the toilet. That is sedentary lifestyle. Walking alone, at least 30 minutes in most days of the week, let's say like 5 times or 4 times in a week, helps a lot. Walking, you just walk around for like 30 minutes and then you come back. You've done an exercise for that day. Most people, they can't even remember the last time they trekked to a long distance. Why? Because they have a car, a means of transportation. So it is very, very important. And then when you discover that, okay, you are having some risk factors, obesity is a risk factor. Weight gain is a risk factor for people. So you need to watch your weight. It is very, very important. And for those that are already hypertensive, I've met some patients. They just, when they come to the hospital, you say, madam, your BP is high. Say, I know. Have you been taking your medication? See, doctor, I'm tired of taking medication. How can I be taking medication all my life? You see, those people require counseling. Do I have somebody like that here? Okay. Whether you want to, signify or not, let me just say, doctor, I'm tired of taking medication. We need to explain this to them, because hypertension on its own, I used to tell them that if you don't love yourself, there are some people that love you. You have children, you have family members, they don't want you to die anytime soon. So you should take your health seriously. Take your medication. When you see your medication as a burden, you become frustrated. But when you see it as, okay, I'm hypertensive now, let me take this at least to put my BP at the right place, to lower my BP. When you take it that way, that okay, let me just take my medication. We eat food every day now. Has anybody say, this food, how can I be eating food all my life? Nobody will say that. Every day why do you need food? Yes, to be alive is important. Why? To be alive, to make you healthy, So there's importance taking food. And because it's important, you take it every day except you are fasting. And fasting is a decision you make on your own. The drug too, you are using the drug for a particular thing, to lower your BP and to stay alive. So it's important. So I tell my patient, take your medication religiously. It is very, very important. Don't get tired of taking your medication. But the first step in discovering whether you are hypertensive or not is by going for checkup. That's the first thing. Some people, I've seen a number of people. I'm not saying it to scare you. A number of people where I work in health center, suddenly they will just bring them to the accident and emergency. Why? One side has paralyzed. If you ask, they've not been taking their medication for long. They refuse to take it. Faith is good, but wisdom is profitable to direct. They say, no, I know God has healed me. I tell, while you are waiting for God to heal you, take your medication. Say, God has healed me. They throw their medication. In fact, they throw it away. and then they come down with stroke, and most of them eventually die. You become a burden to the family. Economically, it's not effective because you are in and out of the hospital. You cannot stand up on your own. They carry them to the toilets. They do this. Before you know, they develop a wound, because when you are lying down for a long time in a place and you are not turning regularly, you develop wound. Why? You are compressing that place. The blood supply to that place is cut off, so the place will become sore and then get infected. You are in and out of the hospital. Frustration comes in, depression comes in, regret comes in. You start saying, I think they have known. Some of them will not be able to talk, but in their heart they will just be thinking, I think they have known. They cannot talk, they cannot move their body. So it is not a good thing. I had an experience. One of the cleaner in the hospital just came to meet me. Doctor, I'm having headache. That day I was tired already. And I said, have you checked your BP? He said, I've not checked, but I'm hypertensive. Say, when last did you take your drug? He said, it's been a while. I said, today, when you get home, take your medication. But I didn't have time to check her BP by myself. I didn't have checked her BP and I discovered it's high. I would have forced her to go and take her medication. The next day, I saw her in the accident and emergency. She, one side paralyzed. I'm sure she didn't take her medication that day. You see? So it cannot be overemphasized. Taking your medication cannot be overemphasized. It is very, very important. Another thing that is like it is blood sugar. Checking your blood sugar, most people are not, they don't really check their blood sugar the way they check the BP. Most people too don't have symptoms. It's only few people that will have, they are going to the toilet. Before I don't even wake up to pass urine at night. But now I wake up 4 times to pass urine because something is wrong. For some people, that's what prompts them to come to the hospital. And when you now check their blood sugar, it's hitting the roof. So immediately you are becoming 30, 40, 50. It is important you check your blood sugar. Most people, they come down with complication of blood sugar. You discover that the sensation. Now, if you are wearing your shoe, you can feel it that you are wearing shoe. If someone's shoe match you, you feel it. Or when you step on something hot, you quickly remove your leg. But for those that are diabetic and have developed complication, they don't even know. They can step on hot thing, they'll still be gisting with you. They don't know. So most people come down with that kind of wound. They just discover, where did I? Some cannot even remember where it happened. I've seen a patient like that. He placed his leg on the silencer, hot, but he didn't even know. So he said when he got home, he just saw that there's blister on his leg. What is wrong? I don't know what happened. From history now discovered that this guy took a bike and then placed his leg on the side. And from there, because of the high blood sugar, they are not able to heal easily. Healing is difficult because of the high blood sugar. So that kind of wound can develop into there's what we call gangrene. It has stages. But when it becomes gangrenous, they call it diabetic foot. When it becomes gangrenous, some people will end up as the leg will be amputated. They will have to cut off the leg. So there are some things that are very important, but all these stuffs are preventable. There are things that are preventable only if you go to the hospital often. Some people have phobia for the hospital. They don't like going to the hospital. So whenever I go to the hospital, the smell, I don't like the smell. It's not about the smell. It's about your health. I tell people, okay, how about us that we are almost always in the hospital? Say, it's your job. You see, you should go to the hospital often. And for diabetic range, when you check your blood sugar, I don't know if you are going to remember all this, but let me just say it for when you check your blood sugar, there's what we call fasting blood sugar and then random blood sugar. The fasting sugar is the one that is done when you've not eaten, at least 12 hours fast. Maybe you want to do the blood sugar around 8 o'clock in the morning. 8 o'clock at night, you will not eat again till morning. So when they check that fasting blood sugar, and let's say it's more than 115 milligram per deciliter, is entering 120, is entering 140, is entering 150, you know that something is wrong. That means you're not converting the glucose to the storage form, which is called glucagon. It's not converting it. Something is wrong with the insulin. Something is wrong with the pancreas. And it has some risk factors too. Weight gain is a risk factor. We have primary, that's type 1 diabetes, and we have adult onset. The one that starts when you are like 40 and above, type 2. So weight gain predisposes because the fat cells secretes a hormone called leptin that prevents the action of the insulin that converts the glucose to glycogen. So it is very important you maintain your weight. Don't gain excessive weight. For some people, it's genetic. The family, everybody is big in the family. So your blood sugar, your blood pressure is important, you check. And there are some screenings too they do during outreaches. Hepatitis B, hepatitis C. Most people don't even care to check this. You only check when you are about to get married or during outreach. That's for those that, I don't know, maybe in the olden days, maybe they normally, those that got married in 1960, 1970, I don't know if they check their, hepatitis B, they don't do the screening. But now it's compulsory that you do the screening. Hepatitis B, hepatitis C, because they are important. There's what we call chronic liver disease. There are some, if you just cover that, this person has developed issues. The eyes is becoming yellow, and when you check hepatitis B, discover that it is positive. But it's something that can be prevented. When you check early, there are some medication that will be given. So it is important you do all these investigations. Something is coming to my mind for male. I was saying there are some that frequently they pass urine frequently. Some might not be because of diabetes. It might be because of enlargement of the prostate. I'm just touching things that are peculiar. Enlargement of the prostate. This is not for female because females don't have prostates. It's only males that have prostates. From 40 years and above, the prostate begin to enlarge. But I'm not saying everybody will come down with symptoms. But when you discover that you are traveling on the way, you can no longer hold your urine. Every 1 hour, you tell the driver, wait, please, I want to pass urine. Are you the only? Even the children in the car, they are not stopping, but you are always stopping the driver. I want to. You should know that something is wrong. For some, it might be that when they are passing urine, they see blood inside, blood stain. Why some, when you get to the toilet and you want to pass urine, you have to wait. You wait like 3 minutes before the urine will start coming out. And when it start coming out, it will break again. Now be wonder, why is it breaking? The urine has not finished, but it's breaking. Then it will continue. But at the end, the stream will not be, will not be dribbling. And you still feel, after passing urine, you still feel as if I've not emptied my bladder enough. You are having classical symptoms of prostate enlargement. And it has prostate enlargement, prostate cancer. They have almost the same symptom. So you need to check to know which one am I having. It is very important. Some people will now start living on catheter, rubber. They cannot pass urine by themselves. They put rubber. The rubber will not even go in through the urethra. They will have to put it at the lower part of the abdomen before it can come out. But this is something that can be remedied. Surgery can be done to remove the prostate. So if you have knowledge of all these things, you'll be able to take appropriate action early. You'll not allow it to advance before you come to the hospital. So it is important you come to the hospital and take care of your health. Very important. As missionaries, you tend to take care of other people more than you attend to yourself. It happens. Pastors, they only come, they preach. First, some might have like 3 services. Preach in first service, preach in second service, preach in third service. And then after that, counseling, you see people lining up, trying to see the pastor. You don't have time for yourself. You should always take a time off. Even doctors too. Like in the last convention, you see patients throughout the day, throughout the night. But the privilege we have, we are in the hospital, we can easily check our own BP. We don't have phobia for hospitals. So it is important to check all these stuff so that you'll be able to catch some things that are important early. Okay. Let me ask this. For women, how many of you have done pap smear before? You know what pap smear is? You said? Cervical. You said? Cervical screening. Cervical screening. Is that what you said? Yes. Okay. That's it actually. There's a virus, they call it human papilloma virus, and it's a cause of cervical cancer. But it takes a long time. Some might like over 10 years. I'll soon round up like 10 years before it comes to manifestation. So it is important for women of reproductive age group to do cervical screening test. They call it pap smear. When you check, you know if you are carrying the virus or not. So maybe there's a pre-malignant. Before it becomes cancer, it has a pre-malignant stage and it has the malignant stage. So when they catch it early at the pre-malignant stage, they can easily do something about it. In the hospital you see many things. Women with cervical cancer that has metastasized to the liver, to the lungs, all those kind of people. You just know that this person is going to die except God, intervene. So what you just do for that kind of patient is just palliative measure. You just manage. When they have pain, you give them pain reliever. When they have a shortage of blood, you give them blood. You are just, because you cannot cure what is wrong with them. So it is important whenever you hear that there's a screening. I think during the convention there was a cervical cancer screening at the health center. So when you hear, just go and do it. At least you know your stand. It is important. It is better to know than to be thinking that you are fit. You know, some people say, I know my genotype is AA. And when they check, you see AS. Some say, I know my genotype is AA, and they'll go and marry someone that is AS. And then they discover that they are AS too. The next thing you see, you have a sickle cell child, and then the trouble starts. So let's take our head seriously. I pray the Lord will help us in Jesus' name. I don't know if there's any question. I've not touched where you want me to go, but if you ask question, maybe I will be able to.
You talk about high blood pressure. I needed to throw light on the other side of the.
Low blood pressure is not a common thing like that, except there's an issue somewhere. Maybe the person is having diarrhea, losing fluid one way or the other, and then the level, if the BP, the upper part is less than 80 and the down part is less than 40, they call it hypotension, and the blood pressure is low, and it kills faster than hypertension. Hypertension can be carrying it but when your blood pressure is low, you cannot even walk. Some will just faint. So it kills faster. I don't know if I answered the question.
Is it possible for AA to become AS in the course of life or living?
AA to become AS. If you are AA, you are AA. Except maybe those that are AS, there's what we call exchange blood transfusion. For those that are AS, that's a child you now transfuse, you remove the blood and put another blood. For that period, if you take a sample, you might see the patient might be AA for that period. But as the bone marrow start to produce its own red blood cell, the person will still be AS. I don't know if you understand. So that you are AA before, then you now become AS. Though we've seen so many issues that they'll say, I've gone to the lab, I checked, I'm AA. Now I will give birth. The person, my baby is SS. Why? I tell people, check before you get married. Check in like 3 labs, because mistakes can happen. Yeah. So check in like 3 labs before you go ahead and marry AS or SS, please.
Thank you very much. The blood pressure, what effects can regular fasting have on it? Can you put it on a check, make it, subdue it? Can you subdue it?
Okay. Some patients have shared their experience that during fasting, their blood pressure is usually low. I told you that when you reduce salt intake, it reduces the blood pressure. When you are fasting, you don't even take salt. You don't take anything. So that might be the reason why the blood pressure drops when you are fasting. But immediately you finish fasting and you start, eating, then you discover that the blood pressure is coming up again. And this one is for those that their blood pressure is still like stage 1, because we have different stages. Stage 1, stage 2, stage 3. For those that are like 140 over 90, that's they are hypertensive, but it's still like borderline, stage 1. For those kind of people, when they are fasting and they are not taking salt, the BP might drop to like 135 over 85 or 135 over 82, and you say, this fasting is working. But immediately you finish fasting, the blood pressure might come up again.
The issue of cervical screening, you said is usually for reproductive age, is that?
Yes, reproductive age group. Actually, there are, should I say, vaccines now for cervical cancer or human papilloma virus vaccine, and both male and female can take it. For sometimes from 9 years upward, they can take it. But the screening now, when it comes to cervical cancer screening, those of reproductive age group, usually we say if you are sexually active, because it might be a bit invasive for virgins, for those that are not sexually active. So it is better for those that are sexually active to do it. If you are 14 and you are sexually active, you should do cervical screening test. But if you are 28 and still not sexually active, I might not advise you to do the cervical screening test. I don't know if I answered the question. Yes, you still do. It is important. You still do. Most of the times, for those that develop cervical cancer, they are at their menopause. So cervical cancer is a major cause of postmenopausal bleed. That means bleeding after menopause. When you see a woman bleeding after menopause, it is highly suspicious. So you should do all the ranges of screening to rule out cervical cancer. I don't know if I answered the question. Age range for menopause. It depends on family and individual. For some, but medically, from 40, there's early and there's late. From 40 to 55. Here in Africa, 40 to 55. But some, 58, they are still menstruating. Yes. So yours is 58 is pregnant. Yes. But for some, 40, they've attained menopause. But when it happens less than 40 years, it's called early menopause. Menopause can even happen at 35. Yes, it's early menopause.
Question. Please, you talked about prostate. In women, how about the dripping of urine? Then, different tests of urine, what do they indicate? In women, different tests of urine, like salty, sugary, alkaline, and all that. Please explain to us.
I don't know if I get the question. Are you saying urine test? Okay, what do they? Okay, taste. Okay, if you taste the what? I didn't get the question. Okay. Urine. Okay. If the urine is tasting salty, or there's test for, or just go for urinalysis. There's no need to taste your urine. Maybe it's sugary, it's salty, or it's sour. The urine itself contains sodium, it contains chloride, it contains potassium, electrolytes. It contains so many things. So you don't need to test your urine and say, okay, let's see if it's sweet or it's bitter or something. You don't need all that. Just go for urine test. Then you see all the ranges, glucose, and if it's negative, is there protein. If it's negative, is there nitrites, leukocyte, all those stuff. Dripping urine. Okay. For some that are leaking urine, there's what we call vesicle vaginal fistula. That means this bladder is connected to the vagina, and then urine, you can be leaking urine. For those that have developed malignancy too, and it has metastasized to the bladder, it has gone seedling, it has like sown a seed into the bladder. Such person can leak urine too. And for some people, urinary tract infection can make you go to the toilet frequently. When you are having urinary tract infection, you are passing urine, then you are feeling peppery sensation. You go to the toilet, before you know, you go back again. Some even have urgency. Before they get to the toilet, they may just wet their body. So it can be urinary tract infection. It can be that the patient is diabetic too, when you are having frequency.
Okay, thank you, sir. You talked about the dangers of steady increase in blood sugar. I just want to ask if steady increase in blood sugar. I want to find out if a steady, fasting life can help keep it in check. Like a Christian, you fast often, if it will help balance it.
Fasting helps when it comes to blood sugar, because when you fast, you lose weight. Yes, you when you fast often, you don't just blow, you lose some weight, and then losing weight helps the blood sugar, helps to drop the blood sugar too. It reduces the amount of leptin, hormone that prevents the action of the insulin. It reduces the amount of leptin that is being secreted. So fasting can help reduce the blood sugar. And during this period, you are not eating much. You eat, and some take more of fruit, which helps. Even in diabetic diets, they say take fruit, reduce carbohydrates that you are taking, take potato, take vegetables and all this stuff. So those dietary modification can drop the sugar. Fourth thing you do for a patient that has maybe borderline sugar is like 120. You tell the patient to do dietary modification first before you introduce medication. When you discover that modifying the diet is not working, then you introduce medication, drug to the patient.
Thank you, sir. Even though you have not talked about ulcer, I want you to throw a little light on it. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Ulcer has become common of recent. Very common that you see different people they present with chest pain and then indigestion or vomiting. Ulcer, you'll be surprised that 95% of ulcer is caused by a bacteria. We call it Helicobacter pylori. That's the cause of ulcer, 95%. Then the other 5%, maybe excessive fasting, stress, starvation. Stress too can cause ulcer. So missionaries, when you stress yourself too much, you can develop ulcer. Stress is the cause of ulcer. But the major cause is a bacteria. That's why when you are giving medication, you add antibiotic to the medication. And ulcer, it has complication. It can bleed, it can perforate. So when you see someone maybe vomiting and then blood is coming out, most likely the patient has ulcer. Or passing stool and the stool is like altered blood. It's like brownish in color, as if you put blood in something, and then you know that, okay, this person most likely is having complication of ulcer. And some, it perforates. Only luho, it can perforate. Just cover that the patient everywhere the patient is having pain, cannot even breathe well again. And for perforated ulcer, it requires surgical intervention. You might need to go in and then close the hole that is there. If not, the content, the acid from the stomach, because the stomach the stomach contain acid. The acid in the stomach, when you put it on your skin, it can burn the skin. So that's why it needs dilution. By eating, you dilute it by eating. If not, it can cause erosion in the stomach or the duodenum. There's the first part of the intestine, the duodenum. So I don't know what you want to actually know about ulcer. Is there any particular question? Because there are so many things that you can talk about in ulcer. Did I answer your question? Okay. So too much fasting or starvation can cause ulcer. Too much stress. I'm stressing this because too much stress can cause ulcer. They call it stress ulcer. So it's common for those that have white collar job. You are working in Lagos, then you are staying on camp. 4 o'clock, you are going to Lagos. You come back around 12. You see, the stress is much. You are seeing patient for a long time. You are seeing, you are counseling for a long time. You are not eating. You see, you can develop ulcer, and it is not a good thing. We lost a patient. Last 2 months. Why? Because of ulcer. So it's not something good. I think is that.
Okay, praise the Lord. Thank you so much, Doctor, because most of the questions I wanted to ask, my people have already asked it. Because when we were growing up, we undergo a series of dry fasting. We never had ulcer. But now when you are fasting, they will tell you ulcer can occur. My question answer is this. In my area, most of the disease there or sickness is arthritis and it's a rheumatism. Is there any remedy? 2, earlier development of white hair. Is there any remedy? Is there any, praise the Lord, development of white hair? Is there any fruit we can take to rectify it, or can we just leave it like that or dye it? Praise the Lord.
Praise the Lord. About the white hair, some is genetic. Their family, even at 20, you start seeing white hair. Like me now, I have white hair. You start seeing white hair. It's genetic. Why some? Before you see white hair, they will have advanced in age. So if you don't like your white hair, go and dye your white hair. And white hair is fine. It's nice. And then for the second, arthritis. Arthritis is better prevented than cured. Yes. For those that develop osteoarthritis, there's no particular cure. You just be managing the patient. When the patient complains, doctor, my leg, I can't, my knee is paining me. You say, okay, take this medication. The patient will still come back. Because after the medication, you just be free for some time, then the patient will still come back. So it is better prevented than cured. Yeah. And for rheumatism too, that's rheumatoid arthritis. There are some things. That one too, you just need to prevent it. And there are different lines of management for rheumatoid arthritis. The first line of management, because it's like an inflammatory process around the joint. The first line of management is to use anti-inflammatory. So we use drugs like non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs, like diclofenac, ibuprofen. Those are the first line of treatment when it comes to rheumatoid arthritis. But there are other forms of treatment too. There are some that you have to inject the joint with steroid. But the main thing is for you to prevent it from happening. For rheumatoid arthritis, diet is very important. There's what we call uric acid. That uric acid can be a risk factor. High uric acid can be a risk factor for rheumatoid arthritis. And this uric acid is more in red meat. Some people, you know, for those that have lived in the north, there's they shred meat. They found, you know, all those that you can just pack and put in your mouth. It's very sweet, but it is dangerous because you don't even know the quantity of meat you are consuming. You just pack and put it inside your mouth. So reducing red meat that you take too is very important because it contains uric acid. Some people, when you are advancing in age, allow the younger ones to eat the meat. You say, I am the head of the house. You put 3. Then the remaining people, they can take maybe half, one. But you are as the head of the house, you take 3. You don't know that you are doing more harm to yourself than good. So, and then for osteoarthritis, exercise, regular exercise too, helps to prevent all those stuff. Just one more person.
Thank you, doctor. I have some questions.
Sir, have you asked questions before?
No, I've never asked questions. Number one question is that what is the difference between surgery and operation? That's number one. Number two, I saw a woman using catheter. Number three, after surgery or operation, and you discover that you are preparing for your manhood, that is preparing you. What will cause it? So number 4, we have been talking about human body. What of our eyes? We have problem on our eyes. We don't see very well. What will cause it? And what's the remedy for our eyes? Thank you.
I think the questions, I don't know if I really understand the question. The first one, difference between operation and surgery. They can be used interchangeably. So there's no much operation, surgery, you can use interchangeably. And then the second one, you said catheter. That a woman using catheter, but you didn't complete the question. So I don't know what you're asking about a woman using catheter. A woman using catheter in the hospital. There are different, if you are going, for those that are going for CS, you know, different forms of surgery, that you know that the type of anesthesia you are giving. You are giving spinal anesthesia. The patient will not be able to move leg for some time. So when the bladder is full, the patient cannot stand up to go and pee. Instead of bedwetting, you pass catheter so that the urine can come out until the patient can move, can walk around. Then you remove the catheter. Whereas for some, maybe you do general anesthesia, you still wait for the patient to be able to ambulate. While some, the catheter can stay there for like 14 days. For those that have, there's what we call obstructed labor. The head of the baby cannot come out. Then it's compressing on the bladder. So by so doing, it cuts off the blood supply to the bladder. If you allow that bladder to start functioning immediately, it may perforate, can make a hole on the bladder. Then you see that the patient will start leaking urine. So you put the catheter there for like 14 days for the bladder to heal very well. Then you remove it, everybody is fine. You go home. And okay, the eyes. Time will not permit us to talk much about the eye. But if you have any issue with there are different causes of, you know, blurring of vision or something. It can be local or systemic causes. So you might need to see maybe ophthalmologist if the cause is like systemic. Hypertension that we are talking about can make the vision. You just discover that the person will say, I cannot see again. The only problem is the BP. You lower the BP, the eyes might be restored. You see? Why some might not be, it might be a form of stroke that has blocked the vessel supplying the eyes or something. So there are different causes. And some, they are not seen because they need glasses. There are different ranges. Okay, I think that will be all.